Hey, I'm Mama Coco, and I forgot all about this. I did not plan accordingly. Fun! Okay, this is a problem. I'm going to the vagina monologues later. Yeah, I just came back from the vagina monologues. That was fun. Incredibly fun. More fun than I was expecting. There was an entrance shaped like a vulva. There were a lot of vaginas. It could have been worse. So, this is sort of unstructured. I don't really have a plan for today, so I'm just gonna wing it. Wing. When I was a child, I spoke with this odd transatlantic accent. And the reason that I had this strange accent was partly because I didn't really speak to my peers. I was not shy necessarily, I just thought I was superior to everyone. And also, I I lived in this fantasy world. I was completely absorbed by the books that I read. So it was a combination of not talking to people and reading constantly. I was completely immersed in the novels that I read, um, which were primarily novels written in the 19th century. Little Woman and Treasure Island and Huckleberry Finn were my three favorite novels as a kid. And by kid, I mean I was about 8 or 9 years old. I was also a big fan of Tolkien. Me reading all these high fantasy novels and classical literature, you would think that it'd be a good thing. But the problem is, I began to speak in this very stilted, um, formal manner, and it echoed the language that I found in these novels I was reading. So it created this weird dilemma where I would talk to my teachers and I would talk to my peers, and they wouldn't understand a word I was saying because I was using archaic, outdated language. One particularly embarrassing story comes to mind. When I first started fourth grade, I was about 9 years old. I remember um, my teacher, Mr. Nuno, asked me a question. I don't remember exactly what the question was, but it was a yes or no question. I sat up, I folded my hands on my desk, and I responded in this very stately, dignified manner, nay. It was the only word I said. I said nay because that's the way that elves in Tolkien talk. They say nay. You know, they're classy bitches. I was sitting in the back at the time, and of course, everyone turned around and stared at me. And then people began laughing, and it was because they thought I was making a horse noise. And even those who did understand that what I meant to say was no, um, it was still a very odd way of saying it. So I was ridiculed in class, and it was quite embarrassing. And from that moment on, I vowed to never use the word nay. But I still ran into some trouble. I was also a big fan of Harry Potter, and I thought that Harry Potter lingo was universally understood. I thought that everyone knew what Quidditch was. Even some of the British isms like git, which is not really a word that one uses in American language. I used to call my enemies slimy gits, and it produced the opposite effect that I intended. Instead of being insulted, they would turn it around against me and insult me for using such strange language. So that's one of the many idiosyncrasies that defined my childhood was my weird ass accent. If you've ever seen Sherlock, Moriarty's accent, you know how it's sort of difficult to pinpoint. It's sort of like a bad American accent. That's basically how I talked. I talked like an American, very badly impersonating a British person. Oh, it was bad. So, yeah, that's my story. It's not really a story, it's just sort of a slice of life. I didn't really have anything prepared, I just talked. Anyway, goodbye. Signing off. This is Mama Coco, and I guess I will be seeing you next week. Say hi to Sheldon. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.